Hi everyone. Give you a second to play catch up there. Should really have come with a mug of coffee here for myself. I'm in need of some extra coffee, I think. It's been a busy morning. Hey Susan, thank you for joining me. I see your faces pop up. Laura, you're there too. Hey Laura. Wouldn't want to miss over here. It's a little bit strange having people on the other side of the curtain watching live, but I'm just going to ignore the oddness of that. I wanted to give you all a happy Thursday. This time next week, by the way, we will be having our live on the Wednesday, not the Thursday, because it is Patrick's Day next week. Eloise, you like my hair? Thank you. I was wondering if anyone would notice. I had conversation with someone this morning, didn't mention my haircut, even though it's quite a bit dramatically different from this day last week. It's actually really nice to have the hair all short again in the back. It's it feels kind of light and fluffy, like a newly shorn lamb, perhaps. There was an awful lot of hair on the hairdresser's floor that they had to sweep up afterwards, but I like it, and it's back red again. You may notice there's bits of red flipping through it. So I'm feeling like myself again. It's like all of the COVID locks got sheared off, because it was just pre-COVID I had started leaving it grow out a little bit, and then that just meant that it didn't get changed for several years, and so now felt like a very good time to take the hair off. So yes, I'm enjoying less hair. So today we're actually, this morning, if you're in the mystery knit along, the shawl knit along, the very final clue has come out today, and this one's a little bit different, because the other clues, the second one was kind of an extension of the first one, where there was an extra increase into the semicircular shawl, and you added a little bit of a slip stitch edging, garter slip stitch along the edge. This time what we're actually doing is there's going to be a knitted on edge worked across the bottom. It's a fairly large amount of stitches, so I would suggest taking your time with it. But I probably took a couple of weeks to work through the edging, just doing several repeats a night, and then when I realized, you'd hit a point where you're starting to make a lot of mistakes, and then it's sort of aside, and I might take up simpler knitting. So you may find that it does pick up as you go along and you get faster with it, but for a little bit it does, you do need to kind of just take your time, and it's done with the contrast color, so it's the mohair, or it's it might be the alpaca, the cumulus brushed alpaca. So it's going to be a little bit lighter weight, and we're doing some crossed cables with slip stitches. Looks lovely, but just be patient with yourself, because it takes a little bit to get into the hang of it, and you might need to experiment with different ways of holding the stitches till you find something that holds it a little bit better for yourself. So just be patient with it, and it looks really good when it's finished. It just needs a little bit of perseverance. Hi Judy from Newfoundland. Thank you for the hair. I'm loving having shorter hair again. It's really a lot of fun to have lightness. I should do a turnaround. Look, it's all short and fluffy in the back. When I came out the hairdresser, you may have seen some photographs I put up yesterday, and they dried it dead straight, and it just felt really, really strange, like someone had put a wig on me. And then this morning when I washed it, and it could just feel like whoof, back up again, it felt, I felt like, oh, it's myself again. My hair, I'm definitely a curly hair person, because this is when it's not dried with the hairdryer, how it basically comes out of the shower. So I'm very grateful that it requires minimal effort, and the shorter, the more that is true, I think. So I should probably go back in terms of the mystery knit along. I was telling you about the final clue, but what I wanted to tell you a small bit about as well was the prize for the final clue. Because usually I've been giving yarn or extra kits and things like that for the final clue. This time through, I actually did something a little different. Last year I did a craft and design course, and I got to know quite a few other local crafters in Cork. And one couple that I met was Charlie and Elle-Marie Mahon. And Elle-Marie sells the ceramics, and Charlie makes them. And so last Saturday I went into the market, and I got 2 mugs. Let me show you. One that I'm keeping on reserve might end up being kept for myself or perhaps a future prize. And this one, which just seemed kind of perfect, a little sheepy mug. They're all handmade by Charlie. And so this, along with some yarn, is going to be the prize for a mystery knit along. They're all hand painted, handmade in Cork. So that, with a couple of skeins of Irish yarn, is going to be on its way to the winner. So what you'll be doing is on the 24th of March, if you finished your shawl, post a photograph to the thread that is specifically for the final shawl photographs. And during the day on the 24th, I'm going to just take a number done by random.org and pick out the winner. So Paige, you're a curly haired person too. When you blow dried, your husband didn't recognize you. I can totally sympathize. I would go even one further. When longer hair, again, blow dried straight, and I collected one of the children from school, and he must have been about 7 or 8, standing right in front of the school. He walks straight past me, and I'm like, yoo-hoo, your mum's here, and was completely oblivious to the fact that I was there. So if you want to hide in plain sight from one of your children and you have curly hair, just get it straight. They'll never recognize you. And if you add some different hair color to it, it's like you've got a full disguise. You could just you could walk home by yourself. Your child will just have to find another way home. So that's the mystery knit along, and I'm really excited about the prize. I think you're going to like it. The other thing I wanted to show you today is last week we launched the Spring Seasons Club. And I've talked a small little bit about it, and every season we've been doing new yarn and new patterns, and this particular season, it really, because it was spring, I wanted something lighter, slightly moving lighter weight with the yarn to go with the season. And it felt absolutely perfect to go with green. Like, look at the green that the Life in the Long Grass has produced for us. This is the bright color. This one is the subtle color. And this one is the seasonal color. So if you're in the club, you'll already have made your pick, and you're going to go ahead and go, and you'll know which one you're going to get for the club for the season. If you're unsure as to whether you want to sign up to an actual to the club itself, but you quite like the yarn and you'd like to jump in for the spring, you can buy just a once off and just actually go ahead and just get any seasons that appeal to you. But if you subscribe, then you're going to get a 5% discount off the actual order itself. This season's, we're going to have 3 patterns. 2 of them will kind of be variations on each other, and then the third one will be different. And they're slightly lighter, they're a little bit fun, they should be a good learning experience for people. They're a little bit more, tiny bit of lace work, but not terribly intensive lace. And the patterns are probably kind of intermediate, or if you're a very adventurous beginner, you should have enough information there to be able to progress. So I'd really love to see you into the Spring Club this year. We also have got some new, thanks to our trip to Dublin, we've got some very special little craft bits that are going to be added into it that we've just ordered. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. It's a lot of fun figuring out what's going to be going into the clubs, and I think that if we left her, Laura would probably do that full time, just picking out little extras for the clubs and giving you little treats. She loves to give people treats. So kind of tied with that, I've got a few more bits over here that I'll grab for things that we've put into the shop this week. I'll be sending a newsletter out and talking a small bit more about them, but I thought as we were here I would show you as well some of the things that they just seemed really interesting, other things that I know that have been out of stock and people have been wanting to get in. First one here is our Haya needles, because of the fact that, but specifically these ones are the bamboo tips. I've been stocking the bamboo tips, but only in full sets. So now I've started getting individual bamboo tips, which I like having the option between the two, and I do use both. I've got quite a few sets of the bamboo, and in the sizes that I use a lot, I've also got the sharp metal ones, because I do find they have slightly different purposes, and I'm going to go, and so I kind of end up flipping back and forth between the two. Next thing that I have here is the Prim Yoga needles. Are they actually called yoga needles? I think they probably are. but these were in stock and they flew out the door really quickly. So if you are interested in trying these, I'd suggest getting them pretty quickly. These are in fact what I used when I was doing the edging for the slip stitch for the Mystery Knit Along shawl, because the cable stitches that had drop stitches on them, I found that being able to twist those through and then just fold them in on each other, it held the stitches quite well. You can also use them for stitch holders if you've just got a few stitches you want to hold, and they do make very good cable needles as well. Just general purpose, handy little bits to have around. You got a lovely bundle of yarn from the shop this week with the nice sprig of lavender. Oh, that is Laura. Laura has got a big bundle of lavender, and she adds a sprig to all of them. This here is something that we've gotten in, and I must do a video on it, but it is a knitting calculator whereby you can put down your rows and your stitch gauge, and then from there, depending on the size of something you want to knit, you can move this around. I am going to go and put a proper video together on how to actually do this, but for the moment it is up there. If you've seen them before and you want to try it out, it's there to try. We've added into a small bit more of our baby and our kid stuff, and I've got a little bowl of buttons here. So we've got a few extra buttons that came in. This one was out of stock and it's back in stock. Here's another swirl one here that it's actually quite nice. It's a plastic one, but I quite like the design that's in it. And we got ourselves some really pretty mother of pearl ones. They're a pretty good size, so you'll see on the website the actual size. I don't know offhand the size of them, but they're lovely and light and very multifunctional. And if you are in the market for cute, we've got little baby sheep ones, which I've got a pattern, an older pattern that I'll show you behind here that I think it would be lovely on. And also a few more little bits got restocked. These are our handmade little leather tags. And then these teeny little tags. These ones just have a little hole in each side so you can sew it onto the bottom. And same with these ones. But let me find this here. This is an older pattern that you may have never even seen, but there's a slightly older kid version. But the baby version of this has got a split shoulder, because anyone who's tried dressing a baby will know that you cannot put a head like this over a baby. But the reason I brought it out is I kept thinking those sheep buttons would be super cute. Let me find that sheep button with the right size, and would be super cute on top of this, on the stave sweater, I thought. Or even, just even any small kids cardigans. I just think the sheep ones are very, very cute. So that one was the stave. That is an older one, if you haven't seen it before, and it's just a slip stitch pattern that has several different colors that run through. I'm wondering, there's a few more kids ones. This is another one. This is the Novia Junior, and again the sheep one could be pretty cute on that. Good brioche one. There's a workshop on first brioche cardigan here on that one. And of course this one, that also would be a great candidate for the sheep. Eloise, as a treat in the club's shortbread would be lovely. Yes, indeed it would. There won't be shortbread this time because we have picked the recipe for this season's club, but I will definitely keep it in mind for a future one, because yes, I think who doesn't like a good shortbread, right? Although you'll have to get Irish butter, I'm afraid, if you're going to make shortbread, because shortbread is all about the butter. So I think if you can get hold of some Dairy Gold or another Irish butter, it will really, really make some delicious shortbread for you. So that is most of what we've been up to this week. I'm looking forward next week, as I was saying. We will be having the live on Wednesday. We'll put up a post about it, but it's going to be on Wednesday rather than Thursday. And then from Thursday through Sunday, we're going to be closed, because this year they've actually extended the Patrick's Day holiday because of post-COVID. They wanted to add an extra bank holiday in. It won't be permanently in there, but it's going to be this year. It's going to be in there. You may also hear my voice has gone croaky. It's actually because I was out meeting people Saturday night and the restaurant was very noisy. And then the next day I was teaching in the Fiberside Chat with Longmont Yarn Shop and talking for a couple of hours. And the two nights together just seemed to completely do my throat in, where it was just raw. Not sour, but just really croaky and raw. Siobhan, not Dairygold. It must be real butter like Kerrygold. Yes, sorry, I've said the wrong thing. I had totally meant Kerrygold. Wrong word came out of my mouth. Yeah, it will be a very nice break for everyone. I think we're kind of in a bit need of a break. It's been a very busy few months to the start of the year, and because of various different things happening at Christmas, the break that was meant to happen didn't fully happen. So 4 days off, I'm really looking forward to it. So we will still be popping in and answering questions, but it's going to be a lot slower, so you won't get as quick as a response. So just bear them in mind if we're not immediately off the blocks with your answers, that we will have a more extended holiday from next Thursday to next Sunday. So I'll say goodbye to you all and see you all next Wednesday. If you have any questions in the meantime, post them up here, or anything you'd like me to talk about next Thursday. I always love ideas for what you'd like to hear about or what you'd like me to talk about. Otherwise, I'll just come and chat at you next Wednesday. Bye.